Imagine this. You're at the gym, grinding through your workout, when you notice the cleaner quietly mopping the floors in the corner. He's unassuming, dressed in plain clothes, and barely says a word to anyone. A group of gym goers starts cracking jokes about him, mocking his job and laughing at his expense. They think he's just another invisible worker, someone they can look down on without consequence. But what they don't know is that this man holds a secret one that will completely flip the script and leave everyone in the room speechless. What if I told you that this cleaner isn't who they think he is? What if I told you that this man holds the power to change their lives in an instant? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to witness a twist so shocking, it will make you rethink how you treat everyone you meet. Now, let's talk about you for a second. Why are you here? Why did you click on this video? Maybe it's because you love a good underdog story. Maybe you're tired of seeing people judged by their appearance or their job title. Or maybe you're just here for the drama, and trust me, there's plenty of that. Whatever brought you here, I promise you this, you're about to get the answer you're looking for. This isn't just another story. It's a lesson in humility, respect, and the power of perspective. And I'm not just going to tell you what happens. I'm going to take you deep into the emotions, the tension, and the jaw-dropping moment that changes everything. So, grab a seat, because you're not going to want to miss this. Let's set the scene. It's a typical day at Ironhaven Gym, a popular spot in the heart of the city. The air is thick with the sound of clanging weights, the hum of treadmills, and the occasional grunt of someone pushing their limits. The gym is packed with all kinds of people: bodybuilders, fitness influencers, casual gym goers, and even a few newbies trying to figure out how to use the machines. But in the midst of all this chaos, there's one person who seems almost invisible: the cleaner. He's an older man, maybe in his late 50s, with a calm demeanor and a quiet presence. He doesn't wear the flashy gym gear or post selfies in the mirror. He's just there, doing his job, keeping the place spotless. Enter the group. They're the kind of people who think they own the place, loud, confident, and a little too comfortable making jokes at someone else's expense. They've been coming to this gym for years, and they've built a little clique around themselves. They're the kind of people who think they're untouchable, the kind who believe their gym membership makes them better than everyone else. And when they notice the cleaner, they see an easy target. They start making snide comments, laughing at his expense, and even mocking the way he moves. It's cruel, it's unnecessary, and it's about to backfire in the most spectacular way. But here's the thing, the cleaner isn't just some random employee. He's not even an employee at all. What this group doesn't know is that this man is the owner of Ironhaven Gym. That's right, the person they're mocking is the very person who signs their paychecks, who decides whether they get to keep their membership, and who has the power to change their lives with a single decision. How did this happen? Why is the owner of a successful gym working as a cleaner? And what will happen when the group finds out the truth? I know what you're thinking. This sounds too good to be true. But trust me, every detail of this story is real, and it's about to unfold in a way that will leave you on the edge of your seat. This isn't just a story about karma or comeuppance. It's a story about human nature, about the masks we wear and the assumptions we make. It's about what happens when those assumptions are shattered and the truth comes to light. So, let's dive deeper. Who is this mysterious cleaner turned owner? What's his story? Why would someone who owns a gym choose to work in such a humble role? And how will the group react when they realize the gravity of their mistake? These are the questions that will keep you hooked, the questions that will make you stay until the very end. Because here's the thing, life has a way of humbling us when we least expect it. And in this story, that lesson is about to hit harder than a 300-pound deadlift. But before we get to the big reveal, let's talk about why this story matters. In a world where social media often glorifies appearances and material success, it's easy to forget that everyone has a story. The person serving your coffee, the janitor cleaning your office, the delivery driver dropping off your package. They're not just background characters in your life. They're people with dreams, struggles, and secrets you know nothing about. And sometimes, those secrets can change everything. This story is a reminder to treat everyone with respect, no matter their job or appearance. It's a reminder that you never truly know who someone is or what they're capable of. And it's a reminder that humility is one of the most powerful traits you can have. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. We all have our strengths, our weaknesses, and our moments of vulnerability. And sometimes, the person you least expect is the one who holds all the power. So, what happens next? How does the group find out the truth? And what happens when they realize they've been mocking the owner of the gym? I'm not going to spoil it for you, not yet. But I will say this, the moment of revelation is one of the most satisfying, jaw-dropping moments you'll ever witness. It's the kind of moment that will make you cheer, gasp, and maybe even shed a tear. It's the kind of moment that will stay with you long after the video ends. But here's the cliffhanger. Just when you think the story is over, there's one more twist. One more detail that changes everything. And it's this final twist that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about this story and about life itself. So, are you ready to find out what happens? Are you ready to see the group's reaction when they learn the truth? Are you ready for the twist that no one sees coming? Then keep watching, because this is one story you won't want to miss. Stay tuned, because the best is yet to come. To truly understand the gravity of what's about to unfold, we need to take a step back and look at the man at the center of this story, the cleaner who isn't just a cleaner. His name is Victor Morales, and he's not your typical gym owner. Victor didn't grow up with a silver spoon in his mouth or inherit a fortune. In fact, his journey to owning one of the most successful gyms in the city is a story of grit, resilience, and a relentless work ethic. Born to immigrant parents, Victor learned the value of hard work from a young age. His father worked double shifts at a factory, and his mother cleaned office buildings at night. They instilled in him the belief that no job is beneath you if it's done with dignity and purpose. That lesson would shape Victor's life in ways no one could have predicted. Fast forward to the present day, and Victor is a self-made millionaire. Iron Haven Gym isn't just a business to him, it's a passion project, a place where people from all walks of life can come to better themselves. But here's the twist. Despite his success, Victor has never lost touch with his roots. He still believes in leading by example, in getting his hands dirty, and in understanding every aspect of his business. That's why, once a month, he trades his designer suits for a janitor's uniform and spends a day working alongside his staff. It's his way of staying grounded, of remembering where he came from, and of ensuring that every corner of his gym runs smoothly. But Victor's decision to work incognito isn't just about humility, it's also about observation. Over the years, he's noticed things from behind the mop and bucket that he might have missed from the CEO's office. He's seen how people treat the staff when they think no one is watching. He's witnessed the cliques, the egos, and the occasional cruelty that can fester in a place like a gym. And he's made it his mission to address these issues, not through confrontation, but through subtle, powerful lessons. This time, however, things are about to get personal. The group that's been mocking Victor isn't just any group, they're regulars at Iron Haven, and they've built a reputation for themselves. There's Jake, the self-proclaimed alpha of the group, a fitness influencer with a massive following and an even bigger ego. Then there's Mia, Jake's girlfriend, who's always quick to laugh at his jokes, even when they're at someone else's expense. Rounding out the group is Tyler, Jake's best friend and wingman, who's more of a follower than a leader, and Sarah, the newest member of the group, who's still trying to prove herself. Together, they're the kind of people who think they're untouchable, the kind who believe their social media clout and gym memberships make them better than everyone else. But here's where things get interesting. Victor has been watching this group for a while. He's seen the way they treat the staff, the way they hog the equipment, and the way they belittle anyone they deem beneath them. And he's decided that enough is enough. But Victor isn't the kind of man who lashes out or makes a scene. No, he's more strategic than that. He knows that the best way to teach someone a lesson isn't to humiliate them, it's to let them humiliate themselves. And that's exactly what he's about to do. As Victor goes about his cleaning duties, he overhears snippets of the group's conversation. They're laughing about how pathetic it must be to clean up after people for a living. They're making jokes about his age, his appearance, and even his accent. And through it all, Victor remains calm, his expression unreadable. But beneath the surface, something is brewing. He's not angry, he's disappointed. Disappointed that people who claim to be about self-improvement could be so shallow, so judgmental, so devoid of empathy. And he's determined to show them the error of their ways. But Victor isn't the only one with secrets. As the day goes on, we start to notice little details that don't quite add up. Why does Jake seem so on edge whenever Victor is nearby? Why does Mia keep glancing at her phone, looking increasingly anxious? And what's with Tyler's nervous laughter every time someone mentions the cleaner? It's almost as if they sense that something is off, that they're being watched, but they can't quite put their finger on it. Then there's Sarah, the newest member of the group. Unlike the others, she doesn't seem entirely comfortable with the way they're treating Victor. There's a hesitation in her laughter, a flicker of guilt in her eyes. Could she be the wild card in this situation? The one who might actually learn something from what's about to happen? Or is she just as complicit as the rest of them? As the tension builds, we start to wonder, how will Victor reveal his true identity? Will he call a staff meeting and drop the bombshell in front of everyone? Will he wait for the perfect moment, letting the group's behavior escalate until they've dug themselves into a hole they can't climb out of? Or will he take a more subtle approach, letting the truth come to light in a way that leaves them questioning everything they thought they knew? And then there's the bigger question, what happens after the reveal? How will the group react? Will they apologize, or will they double down on their arrogance? Will they learn from their mistakes, or will they continue to see Victor as nothing more than a cleaner regardless of his title? And what about Victor? Will he forgive them, or will he use this moment to make a statement about respect and humility? As the pieces of the puzzle start to come together, one thing becomes clear. This isn't just a story about a gym cleaner who turns out to be the owner. It's a story about power dynamics, about the masks we wear and the assumptions we make. It's a story about what happens when those assumptions are shattered and the truth comes to light. And it's a story that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the people around you. But before we get to the big reveal, there's one more twist, one more layer of uncertainty that will keep you guessing until the very end. Because just when you think you figured it all out, Victor drops a bombshell that no one sees coming. A bombshell that changes everything. A bombshell that will leave you speechless. So, what is it? What's the twist that no one sees coming? And how will it change the course of this story? You'll have to keep watching to find out. Because this isn't just a story, it's a lesson. A lesson in humility, in respect, and in the power of perspective. And it's a lesson that you won't soon forget. Stay tuned, because the best is yet to come. Just when you think the story couldn't get any more intense, another layer is added to the mystery, one that complicates everything and raises the stakes to a whole new level. As Victor continues his undercover mission at the gym, quietly observing the group and biding his time for the perfect moment to reveal his true identity, something unexpected happens. A text message pings on his phone, and when he glances at it, his expression shifts ever so slightly. It's subtle, but if you're paying close attention, you can see the flicker of concern in his eyes. The message is from his longtime friend and business partner, Elena Ramirez, and it's brief but cryptic. We need to talk. It's about the gym. Meet me tonight. Elena isn't just anyone, she's the co-owner of Iron Haven Gym and has been by Victor's side since the beginning. Together, they built the gym from the ground up, turning it into the thriving community hub it is today. But lately, things between them have been strained. There have been whispers of disagreements, of differing visions for the future of the gym, and even rumors that Elena might be looking to sell her share of the business. Victor has tried to brush it off, chalking it up to the usual stresses of running a business, but this message feels different. There's an urgency to it, a tension that can't be ignored. As Victor finishes his shift and heads to meet Elena, the camera shifts to her perspective. She's sitting in her car outside the gym, her hands gripping the steering wheel a little too tightly. Her face is a mix of frustration and worry, and it's clear that whatever she has to say isn't going to be easy. When Victor arrives, she doesn't waste any time. "We've got a problem," she says, her voice low and serious. "Someone's been digging into the gym's finances. And it's not just a casual look, they're digging deep. Too deep." This revelation hits Victor like a punch to the gut. The gym's finances? Who would be looking into them, and why? Iron Haven has always been a profitable business, but like any company, it has its complexities. There are loans, investments, and partnerships that could be misinterpreted or twisted if someone wanted to cause trouble. But who would want to do that? And what would they stand to gain? Elena doesn't have all the answers, but she has a theory. "I think it might be someone on the inside," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "Someone who knows how the gym operates, who has access to sensitive information. And if that's the case, this could be bigger than we thought. The implications are staggering. If someone within the gym is trying to undermine them, it could mean sabotage, embezzlement, or even a hostile takeover. And if that's true, then Victor's undercover mission takes on a whole new meaning. Suddenly, it's not just about teaching a group of arrogant gym-goers a lesson. It's about protecting everything he's built. But here's where things get even more complicated. As Victor and Elena discuss their next steps, a new piece of evidence surfaces. A folder is left on Victor's desk, seemingly out of nowhere. Inside are documents, financial records, emails, and even surveillance photos that suggest someone has been watching Victor for weeks. And not just at the gym. There are photos of him at his home, at his favorite coffee shop, even at his daughter's school. Whoever is behind this isn't just after the gym, they're after Victor personally. The question is, who? Could it be someone from the group that's been mocking him? Jake, with his inflated ego and questionable morals, certainly seems like a prime suspect. Or could it be someone else entirely? Someone with a grudge against Victor, or someone who stands to gain from his downfall? As Victor and Elena dig deeper, they start to notice strange coincidences. Jake's sudden interest in the gym's financial health, Mia's mysterious phone calls, Tyler's nervous behavior, it all starts to add up. But just when they think they're getting closer to the truth, a new piece of evidence contradicts everything they thought they knew. A video surfaces, showing someone tampering with the gym's security system. But it's not Jake, or Mia, or Tyler. It's someone they never expected. The tension is palpable as Victor and Elena realize they're not just dealing with a group of arrogant gym-goers, they're dealing with a calculated, dangerous threat. And the stakes are higher than ever. If they don't figure out who's behind this soon, it could mean the end of Ironhaven Gym and everything Victor has worked for. But here's the kicker. Just as Victor is about to confront the group and reveal his true identity, he receives another message. This one is even more chilling than the last. It's a single sentence, written in bold block letters, YUTHINK, YURUANCONTROB, UTYURENOT. The message sends a shiver down Victor's spine. Whoever is behind this isn't just after the gym, they're playing a game. A dangerous, high-stakes game. And Victor is the pawn. As the camera pans out, showing Victor standing alone in the gym, the weight of the situation settles over him. The group is still laughing in the background, oblivious to the storm that's brewing. But Victor knows the truth. This isn't just about teaching them a lesson anymore. This is about survival. And so, the stage is set for a showdown unlike any other. A showdown that will test Victor's strength, his intelligence, and his resolve. A showdown that will leave you on the edge of your seat, desperate to know what happens next. But before we get to that, there's one more twist, one more piece of the puzzle that changes everything. Because just when you think you figured it all out, the story takes a turn you never saw coming. Stay tuned, because the best and the most shocking is yet to come. Just when you think you've got a handle on the story, when you think you've pieced together the motives and the players, the ground shifts beneath your feet. The plot twist that's about to unfold isn't just a curveball. It's a seismic shift that redefines everything. It's the kind of twist that makes you rewind the video, double-checking to see if you missed something, because surely this can't be real. But it is. And it changes everything. Here's what happens. Victor, still reeling from the cryptic message and the mounting pressure, decides to confront the group. He's done playing games. He's done being the silent observer. He's ready to reveal his true identity and put an end to the mockery, the sabotage, and the threats. But as he steps into the gym's main area, ready to drop the bombshell, something stops him in his tracks. It's Sarah, the newest member of the group, the one who seemed uncomfortable with the way they treated him, the one who seemed like she might actually have a conscience. She's standing in the corner, her phone in hand, and she's not laughing. She's not even smiling. She's staring at Victor with an expression that's impossible to read. And then she does something no one expects. She walks up to him, looks him straight in the eye and says, "I know who you are." The room falls silent. The group freezes, their laughter dying in their throats. Even Victor is caught off guard. He expected resistance, arrogance, maybe even denial. But this is something else entirely. Sarah continues, her voice steady but laced with something Victor can't quite place. Anger? Resentment? You think you're so clever, don't you? Playing the humble janitor, watching us, judging us. But you're not the only one with secrets, Victor. The use of his name sends a ripple through the room. Jake, Mia, and Tyler exchange confused glances, their bravado crumbling as they realize something big is about to go down. But Victor's focus is entirely on Sarah. What does she know? How does she know? And what secrets is she talking about? Before he can respond, Sarah pulls out her phone and shows him a photo. It's a picture of Victor and Elena, taken years ago, standing in front of a rundown building with a for sale sign. It's the building that would eventually become Iron Haven Gym. But that's not the shocking part. The shocking part is the caption beneath the photo, written in bold letters. You stole this from me. Victor's heart skips a beat. He knows exactly what this means. The building, the gym, the entire business. It wasn't just a dream he and Elena built together. It was a dream that came at a cost. A cost that someone else paid. Sarah's voice cuts through the tension like a knife. My father owned that building. He was going to turn it into a community center, a place for people who couldn't afford fancy gym memberships. But you and Elena swooped in, offered him a deal he couldn't refuse, and then pushed him out when he couldn't keep up with the payments. You took everything from him. And now you're playing the hero? The humble gym owner who just wants to teach people a lesson? Give me a break. The room is dead silent. Even the hum of the treadmill seems to fade into the background as the weight of Sarah's words sinks in. Victor is speechless. He wants to deny it, to explain, to say that it wasn't like that, but the truth is, he can't. Because there's a kernel of truth in what she's saying. The building had been a contentious purchase, and the previous owner, Sarah's father, had struggled to keep up with the payments. Victor and Elena had seen an opportunity and taken it. At the time, they told themselves it was just business. But now, standing in front of Sarah, Victor can't help but wonder if they crossed a line. But here's the twist. Sarah isn't done. She's not just here to confront Victor about the past. She's here to settle a score. And she's not working alone. As if on cue, the gym's doors swing open, and in walks a man Victor hasn't seen in years. It's Sarah's father, looking older and wearier than Victor remembers, but with the same fire in his eyes. And he's not alone. Behind him are a handful of people, former employees, disgruntled investors, even a few former members of the gym. They're here to make a statement. And that statement is clear. Victor isn't the hero of this story. He's the villain. The group that's been mocking Victor is completely lost. They don't know what's happening, but they can feel the tension, the anger, the betrayal. Jake, Mia, and Tyler are frozen, their earlier arrogance replaced by confusion and fear. Even Elena, who's been Victor's rock through all of this, looks shaken. But here's the thing, this isn't just about the gym. It's not just about money or property or business deals. It's about power. It's about who gets to tell the story, who gets to control the narrative. And right now, the narrative is slipping through Victor's fingers. As Sarah and her father lay out their case, piece by damning piece, Victor realizes that he's been outplayed. The threats, the messages, the surveillance, it wasn't just about sabotaging the gym. It was about exposing him, about tearing down the image he's worked so hard to build. And it's working. But just when you think the story can't get any more intense, just when you think Victor's world is about to come crashing down, another twist emerges. Because Sarah's father isn't just here for revenge. He's here to make a deal that could change everything. You think you're the only one who can play the long game, Victor? He says, his voice calm but laced with steel. You think you're the only one who can manipulate people, who can twist the truth to suit your needs? Well, guess what? The tables have turned. And now it's your move. The camera zooms in on Victor's face, capturing every flicker of emotion, shock, anger, fear, and, just maybe, a hint of respect. Because this isn't just a battle for control of the gym. It's a battle for redemption, for justice, for the truth. And as the screen fades to black, one question lingers in the air, heavy and unspoken. What will Victor do next? Stay tuned, because the story is far from over. And the next chapter is going to blow your mind. The weight of the situation presses down on Victor like a collapsing ceiling, each revelation adding another layer of impossibility to the choices he now faces. Sarah's father, standing there with his small but determined group, has laid out his terms, and they're not just about money or property, they're about justice, about reclaiming what was lost, and about forcing Victor to confront the consequences of his actions. But here's the thing, Victor isn't just fighting for his gym anymore. He's fighting for his identity, for the life he's built, and for the people who depend on him. And as the tension in the room reaches a boiling point, he realizes that there are no easy answers. Every path forward comes with a cost, and every choice he makes will leave someone or something broken. The first impossible choice comes in the form of an ultimatum. Sarah's father steps forward, his voice steady but carrying the weight of years of resentment. You have two options, he says, his eyes locked on Victor's. You can hand over the gym lock, stock, and barrel and walk away. Or you can fight me, and I'll take it from you. But if you choose to fight, I'll make sure everyone knows the truth. Every cut corner, every shady deal, every person you've stepped on to get where you are. I'll bury you, Victor. And I'll enjoy every second of it. The words hang in the air, sharp and unyielding. Victor feels the eyes of everyone in the room on him, Elena, the group, the staff, even the few gym members who've stopped their workouts to watch the drama unfold. He knows what's at stake. The gym isn't just a business to him. It's his life's work, his legacy. But it's also a place that's brought hope and community to countless people. Handing it over would mean betraying not just himself, but everyone who believes in what Iron Haven stands for. On the other hand, fighting could destroy everything he's built, not just financially, but reputationally. And once the truth is out, there's no taking it back. But the ultimatum isn't the only impossible choice Victor has to make. As he struggles to process Sarah's father's demands, Elena steps forward, her face a mask of conflicting emotions. She's been quiet until now, but when she speaks, her voice is firm. Victor, we need to talk. Alone. The two of them retreat to Victor's office, the tension between them palpable. Once the door is closed, Elena doesn't hold back. What the hell is going on, Victor? How did we get here? And why didn't you tell me about Sarah's father? Victor tries to explain, to justify the decisions they made years ago, but Elena cuts him off. This isn't just about the past, Victor. This is about now. About us. If we don't handle this carefully, we could lose everything. And I'm not just talking about the gym. Her words hit Victor like a punch to the gut. Elena isn't just his business partner. She's his closest friend, his confidant, the person who's always had his back. But now, for the first time, he sees doubt in her eyes. Doubt about him. About their partnership. About whether they can survive this. And then she drops the bombshell. I've been approached by a buyer, she says, her voice barely above a whisper. They're offering enough money to walk away from all of this, to start over. And right now, with everything that's happening, it's starting to sound pretty good. Victor stares at her, stunned. The idea of Elena leaving, of abandoning the gym and him feels like a betrayal. But at the same time, he can't blame her. The pressure is immense, and the stakes are higher than ever. If she stays, she risks losing everything. If she leaves, she saves herself but leaves Victor to face the storm alone. The emotional weight of the situation is crushing. Victor feels torn in every direction between his loyalty to the gym and his loyalty to Elena, between his desire to fight and his fear of losing everything, between his past mistakes and his hope for redemption. And as he looks at Elena, he realizes that he's about to lose her one way or another. But the impossible choices don't end there. As Victor steps back into the gym, he's confronted by Jake, Mia, and Tyler. They've been watching everything unfold, and now they're demanding answers. "What the hell is going on?" Jake says, his voice a mix of anger and fear. "Who are these people? And why are they saying you stole this place?" Victor knows he has to say something, but what? If he tells them the truth, he risks losing their respect and their business. If he lies, he's no better than the person Sarah's father is accusing him of being. And as he looks at their faces, he realizes that this isn't just about the gym anymore. It's about the people who believe in it. The people who believe in him. But before he can respond, Sarah steps forward again. This time, her tone is softer, almost pleading. "Victor, this doesn't have to be a fight. You can make this right. But you have to be willing to admit what you've done. To take responsibility. To make amends." Her words strike a chord deep within him. For the first time, he allows himself to consider the possibility that maybe, just maybe, he's been wrong. That maybe the gym, the success, the legacy, it all came at a cost that he's been unwilling to acknowledge. But admitting that would mean tearing down everything he's built. And he's not sure he's strong enough to do that. As the camera pans out, showing Victor standing in the middle of the gym, surrounded by the people who've shaped his life, Elena, Sarah, Jake, Mia, Tyler, Sarah's father, the tension is almost unbearable. Every choice he makes will have consequences. Every path forward will leave someone hurt. And as the weight of it all settles over him, one thing becomes clear: there's no easy way out. But here's the kicker. Just when you think the story can't get any more intense, a new piece of information comes to light. A phone rings, breaking the silence, and when Victor answers, the voice on the other end delivers a message that changes everything. "You're not the only one with secrets, Victor. And if you don't do what we say, we'll make sure everyone knows yours." The screen fades to black, leaving you hanging on the edge of your seat. What's the secret? Who's behind the threat? And what will Victor do next? Stay tuned, because the story is far from over. And the next chapter is going to leave you breathless. The phone call ends, but the echo of the threat lingers, reverberating through Victor's mind like a warning bell. The voice on the other end wasn't just ominous, it was familiar. Too familiar. And as Victor pieces together the fragments of the conversation, a chilling realization dawns on him. This isn't just about Sarah's father or the gym. This is bigger. Much bigger. The conspiracy he stumbled into isn't a single thread. It's a web, intricately woven and designed to trap him. And the worst part? He has no idea who's pulling the strings. The urgency of the situation becomes unbearable. Victor knows he's running out of time. that every second he spends hesitating brings him closer to losing everything. But as he scrambles to make sense of the chaos, a new piece of the puzzle falls into place, one that changes everything. It's Elena. She's been acting strange ever since the confrontation with Sarah's father, distant and evasive, as if she's hiding something. At first, Victor brushes it off, chalking it up to the stress of the situation. But then he notices the way she avoids his gaze, the way her hands tremble slightly when she thinks he's not looking. And when he confronts her, the truth comes tumbling out in a rush of words and tears. "I didn't want to tell you," she says, her voice breaking. "I thought I could handle it on my own. But it's too big, Victor. Too dangerous." What she reveals next sends shockwaves through the room. Elena hasn't just been approached by a buyer, she's been blackmailed. Someone has been threatening her, using her past against her. A past she's kept hidden from everyone, even Victor. They've given her an ultimatum: sell her share of the gym or they'll expose her secrets to the world. And if that happens, not only will she lose everything, but the gym's reputation will be destroyed. Victor feels the ground shift beneath him. Elena, his closest friend, his partner, has been keeping this from him. And now, her betrayal, no, her desperation has put them both in an impossible position. But as he processes her words, another realization hits him. This isn't just about Elena. Whoever is behind this knows too much. They've been watching, waiting, manipulating events from the shadows. And they're not done yet. The stakes skyrocket as Victor and Elena realize the true scale of the conspiracy. It's not just Sarah's father or a disgruntled investor. It's a coordinated effort to take down Ironhaven Gym and everyone connected to it. And the people behind it are closer than they think. As Victor digs deeper, he uncovers a trail of lies, deceit, and betrayal that leads him to someone he never expected: Jake. The self-proclaimed alpha of the group, the one who's been mocking him, the one who seemed like nothing more than an arrogant gym-goer, is actually at the center of the conspiracy. It turns out Jake isn't just a fitness influencer with a big ego. He's the son of a rival gym owner, someone who's been trying to take down Ironhaven for years. His entire persona, the arrogance, the mockery, the obsession with status, was a carefully constructed act designed to infiltrate Victor's gym and gather intel. And he's not working alone. Jake's father has been pulling the strings from the beginning, using his son and a network of insiders to sabotage Ironhaven. The financial digging, the threats, the blackmail, it's all part of a larger plan to destroy Victor's business and absorb his clientele. And they've been playing the long game, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. But here's the twist. Jake isn't just following orders. He's got his own agenda. As Victor confronts him, Jake's mask slips, revealing a bitterness and resentment that runs deeper than anyone realized. "You think you're better than everyone, don't you?" he sneers, his voice dripping with venom. The self-made millionaire, the humble gym owner, the guy who's always got it all figured out. But you're not. You're just like the rest of us. And now you're gonna learn what it feels like to lose everything. The confrontation is explosive, a clash of egos and emotions that leaves everyone in the room reeling. But as the dust settles, Victor realizes that Jake is just a pawn in a much larger game. The real threat is still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting to make their move. And then, just when it seems like things can't get any worse, a new player enters the scene. It's Sarah's father, but he's not alone. With him is a group of investors, powerful, influential people who've been quietly funding the conspiracy. They're not just after the gym, they're after Victor. and they're willing to do whatever it takes to bring him down. The pressure is overwhelming. Victor is trapped, caught between enemies on all sides, with no clear way out. But as he looks around the room, at the faces of the people he's fought for and the people he's failed, he realizes that he has one last card to play. One last chance to turn the tables. But it's a risky move, one that could either save him or destroy him. And as he prepares to make his play, the tension reaches a fever pitch. The audience is left on the edge of their seats, desperate to know what happens next. Because here's the thing, this isn't just a story about a gym or a business. It's a story about power, about betrayal, about the lengths people will go to protect what's theirs. And as the pieces of the puzzle fall into place, one thing becomes clear: the climax is coming. And it's going to be explosive. Stay tuned, because the final chapter is about to begin. And you won't want to miss it. The gym, once a sanctuary of clanging weights and rhythmic treadmills, now feels like a battlefield. The air is thick with tension, every breath heavy with the weight of what's about to unfold. Victor stands at the center of it all, his mind racing as he pieces together the final fragments of the conspiracy. The threats, the blackmail, the betrayals, they all lead to this moment. And as he looks around the room, at the faces of the people who've shaped this nightmare, he knows there's no turning back. Jake, his mask of arrogance finally stripped away, glares at Victor with a mix of defiance and desperation. Sarah's father stands beside him, flanked by the investors who've been pulling the strings from the shadows. Elena is there too, her face pale but resolute, as if she's finally ready to face the consequences of her choices. And then there's Sarah, caught between loyalty to her father and the growing realization that this fight is bigger than any of them. Victor takes a step forward, his voice steady but laced with a quiet fury. "You think you've won?" he says, his eyes locking onto Jake's. "You think you've outplayed me. But you've made one mistake. You underestimated me." The room falls silent, the tension so palpable it feels like the walls might crack under the pressure. Victor reaches into his pocket and pulls out a flash drive, holding it up for everyone to see. "This," he says, "is everything. Every email, every transaction, every piece of evidence that ties you to this conspiracy. And it's not just about the gym. It's about the lies, the manipulation, the lives you've destroyed to get what you want." Jake's face pales, but he tries to bluff his way through. "You're bluffing," he says, though his voice wavers. "You don't have anything." Victor doesn't respond. Instead, he walks over to the gym's computer and plugs in the flash drive. The screen lights up, displaying a cascade of documents, photos, and videos that lay bare the entire conspiracy. The room erupts into chaos as the investors turn on Jake and his father, their alliances crumbling under the weight of the evidence. But just when it seems like Victor has turned the tide, Sarah's father steps forward, his voice cutting through the noise. "You think this changes anything?" he says, his tone icy. "You think a few documents are enough to stop us? You're naive, Victor. This isn't just about you. It's about power. And power doesn't play by the rules." The words hang in the air, a chilling reminder of the stakes. Victor knows he's not just fighting for the gym anymore. He's fighting for his life, for the people he cares about, for the truth. And as the tension reaches its peak, he makes his move. "You're right," he says, his voice calm but filled with resolve. "This isn't just about me. It's about all of us. And if you think I'm going to let you destroy everything I've built, you're wrong." With that, he presses a button on the computer, and the gym screens usually reserved for workout tutorials and motivational quotes light up with a live stream. It's a press conference, broadcast to every major news outlet in the city. And standing at the podium is none other than Victor's lawyer, ready to expose the conspiracy to the world. The room erupts into chaos as the investors scramble to stop the broadcast, but it's too late. The truth is out, and there's no taking it back. Jake collapses into a chair, his bravado shattered, while Sarah's father stares at the screen in stunned silence. Even Elena looks shaken, as if she's finally realizing the full extent of what they've been up against. But just when it seems like the battle is over, just when it seems like Victor has won, the final twist hits. As the live stream continues, a new figure steps into the frame. It's someone Victor never expected to see, someone he thought was on his side. It's his lawyer, the person he trusted to expose the conspiracy, who now stands at the podium with a smirk on his face. "Ladies and gentlemen," the lawyer says, his voice smooth and confident, "what you've just witnessed is a masterclass in manipulation. Victor Morales would have you believe he's the victim in all of this, but the truth is far more complicated. The evidence you've seen, it's been doctored. The conspiracy you've been told about, it's a fabrication. Victor Morales is the real villain here, and it's time the world knew the truth." The screen goes black, leaving the room in stunned silence. Victor feels the ground shift beneath him, his mind reeling as he tries to process what just happened. The lawyer, the one person he trusted to help him, has betrayed him. And now, the narrative has been flipped. The room erupts into chaos once again as the investors seize the opportunity to turn the tables. Jake, emboldened by the sudden shift, stands up and points an accusing finger at Victor. "You see?" he says, his voice filled with triumph. "He's been lying to you this whole time. He's the one who's been manipulating everyone. He's the real villain." Victor feels the walls closing in, the weight of the betrayal crushing him. But as he looks around the room, at the faces of the people he's fought for and the people he's failed, he realizes that this isn't the end. It's just the beginning. Because here's the thing, Victor still has one last card to play. One last secret that even the lawyer doesn't know about. And as the chaos swirls around him, he prepares to make his final move. The screen fades to black, leaving you hanging on the edge of your seat. What's Victor's final move? How will he turn the tables? And what's the ultimate fate of Ironhaven Gym? Stay tuned, because the final chapter is about to begin. And it's going to blow your mind. The gym, once a place of sweat, determination, and community, now feels like the epicenter of a storm that has finally begun to settle. Victor stands amidst the chaos, his mind a whirlwind of emotions, anger, betrayal, but also a flicker of hope. The lawyer's betrayal was a devastating blow, but it wasn't the end. It was the catalyst for Victor's final move, the one he'd been holding on to as a last resort. As the room erupts into chaos, with Jake and the investors scrambling to capitalize on the lawyer's revelation, Victor takes a deep breath and steps forward. "Enough," he says, his voice cutting through the noise like a knife. The room falls silent, every eye turning to him. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small, unassuming device, a voice recorder. "You want the truth?" he says, holding it up for everyone to see. "Here it is." He presses play, and the room is filled with the sound of voices. Jake, Sarah's father, the investors, even the lawyer plotting, scheming, and confessing to everything. The recordings are damning, a raw and unfiltered account of the conspiracy to destroy Ironhaven Gym and ruin Victor's life. The room is stunned into silence as the truth unfolds, piece by devastating piece. When the recording ends, the balance of power shifts once again. Jake collapses into a chair, his bravado shattered, while Sarah's father stares at the floor, his face a mask of defeat. The investors, realizing the game is up, begin to back away, their alliances crumbling under the weight of the evidence. Even the lawyer, caught in his own web of lies, has no defense. But Victor isn't done. He turns to Sarah, who's been standing silently in the corner, her face a mix of shock and guilt. "I'm sorry," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "I didn't know it would go this far. I just wanted justice for my father." Victor looks at her, his expression softening. "I understand," he says, "but this isn't the way. Justice doesn't come from tearing people down. It comes from building something better." With that, he turns to the room and makes an announcement that no one sees coming. "Ironhaven Gym isn't just a business," he says. "It's a community. And today, that community is going to start over. No more secrets. No more lies. Just people coming together to be better, to do better. And if you're willing to be a part of that, you're welcome to stay. But if you're not, there's the door." The room is silent for a moment, and then, slowly, people begin to clap. It starts with Elena, her eyes filled with tears, and spreads to the staff, the gym members, even a few of the investors. Jake and Sarah's father slip out quietly, their heads bowed in shame, but most of the others stay, drawn to Victor's vision of a fresh start. As the dust settles, Victor feels a sense of peace he hasn't felt in years. The battle has been brutal, but it's also been a wake-up call. He realizes now that Ironhaven isn't just a gym, it's a reflection of who he is, of the values he holds dear. And as he looks around the room, at the faces of the people who've stood by him, he knows that he's not alone. But here's the twist. Just when it seems like the story is over, Victor receives one last message. It's a text from an unknown number, and it contains just 2 words, "Nice move." Victor stares at the screen, a chill running down his spine. Who sent it? Is it a threat? A warning? Or is it something else entirely? He doesn't know, but he does know one thing. The fight isn't over. Not yet. As the camera pans out, showing Victor standing in the middle of the gym, surrounded by the people he's fought for and the people he's failed, the screen fades to black. The story ends, but the questions linger. What's next for Victor? Who sent the message? And what does it mean for the future of Ironhaven Gym? The final scene is a montage, a glimpse of what's to come. Victor and Elena working side by side, rebuilding the gym and their partnership. Sarah, now a regular at the gym, finding her place in the community. The staff and members united in their shared goal of creating something better. And then, just as the screen fades to black, a final shot. Victor, standing alone in the gym, looking out at the city skyline, a small smile on his face. The story ends, but the impact lingers. It's a reminder that life is messy, that people are flawed, but that there's always a chance to start over. It's a story about power, about betrayal, but also about redemption and the power of community. And as the credits roll, one question remains. What will you do when faced with your own impossible choices? Because here's the thing, this isn't just Victor's story. It's yours. And the next chapter is yours to write. Stay tuned, because the journey is far from over. And the best is yet to come.